Right now, Waterbury city leaders are demanding answers about alleged misconduct in the water department.
You may recall the water superintendent resigned last week after months of water problems in the city. A meeting is happening right now to talk about all of this, and your reporter Katie Cohen live outside City Hall to explain tonight. Katie.
Mark and Aaron, Waterbury aldermen are inside City Hall behind me right now, getting ready for this special meeting. The meeting agenda says they are expected to go into executive session to talk about the resignation of former Waterbury Water Superintendent Bradley Malay and a Waterbury police investigation. Malay resigned last week after being accused of misconduct during his time leading the city's water department. During his time here, the city was plagued with water and pipe issues, including the water main break on Thomaston Avenue in December and fire hydrants not working during a house fire earlier this month. Republican aldermen say they were informed about his resignation in an email last Thursday and are now calling out the mayor and other city leaders for a lack of transparency. They say after that fire earlier this month, when firefighters couldn't get water from the hydrants, they asked for a special meeting to get answers on how this happened and say their request was ignored. They say this lack of transparency is unacceptable, and in a statement say at no point were members of the Board of Aldermen tasked with oversight in representing the people of Waterbury briefed on the nature of the misconduct, the status of the water system, or the administration's plan to ensure public safety moving forward. This lack of communication not only undermines the role of elected officials, it erodes public trust. We are going to go inside this meeting right now to get responses on this from both Democratic and Republican aldermen. We are not going to be able to listen when they go into executive session if they do, but we will bring you updates on what happens at the end of the meeting. Your reporter live in Waterbury, Katie Cohen, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Katie, thank you. We'll look forward to